Today was another horrible day out there in the stock market for any of the bulls. The bears, however, were smiling from ear to ear. Take a look at Eli Lilly's stock, down 6.24% on the day. Domino's Pizza was down 13.65%, but it's very interesting. We have a shooting star type of candle in the context of a downtrend. Is this going to be part of a reversal? And we're going to talk about a pattern that just showed up on the S&P 500 as well. We look at the fear and greed index. We are sitting at 51. We're only able to get back into neutral territory. Then we look at the most recent investor sentiment survey that just came out. We had a very hot reading now, 52.7. Does this indicate that too many people were on one side of the trade? And that's why we're starting to get a pullback in this market. Now, the small caps and the Dows have really been running and holding strong. However, yesterday I warned you guys about the shooting star candle in the small caps. Then today, we're finally able to come down and fill the first gap out here in this market. Now, the question is, as the weeks progress, are we going to see more and more of these gaps come back and get filled? We look at the diamonds. The diamonds were on one heck of a streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up candles in a row. Then boom, day number 7. Well, I guess lucky 7 just wasn't in the cards for the Dow Jones. We take a look at the volatility index, a massive spike in the volatility index, up 10%. Just when everybody thought everything was fine, come on in, the water is warm. Well, I warned you guys, when we're down near 52-week lows, this is one of the things that occur time and time again. Yes, most dips tend to be bought, but then we're also got to be on the lookout for a volatility spike, and that's exactly what we're starting to see. We see Tesla was actually able to squeak out a little bit of green today, up 65 cents on the session. We take a look at Meta. Meta was also up today, up $13.86. And as we look at some of these stocks, it's also making me wonder, is tomorrow going to be an update in the market? We come over and look at the DXY, the dollar index. Dollar index rocketing up today, up 44 cents on the session. When we look at this on the 5-minute chart, we can see the dollar index simply grinding higher throughout the day. Now, normally a stronger dollar is a headwind out here for stocks, and that was no different out here today. Then we come over and take a look at gold. Gold basically selling off a bit today after making a new all-time high yesterday. Now, how far down is gold going to go? Will it be able to make it down towards some of these high volume areas on the volume profile? And the first one being around 2366. One thing I'd want to look at in gold is I'd want to take a very simple Fibonacci retracement measurement and pay attention, all right? Will gold pull back towards the 50% or even the 61.8? 61.8 would put us right in line with that high volume area off the composite profile as well. Then we look at earnings. Let's not forget, after the bell, we have earnings. Netflix is going to be coming out, and we're going to see, will Netflix come rocketing to the moon, or is it going to come crashing substantially lower? When we look at the expected moves out there, Netflix expected to move plus or minus 9%. And it's looking more and more like this could indeed be the case once again, where the NASDAQ tops out in the month of July. Now, let me know, do you guys think the NASDAQ is indeed going to put its top in out here in July? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below and give the video a big thumbs up. So I decided to come over and take a look at Netflix to see if earnings are out. Yikes, we've had a little bit of volatility, so I think earnings are out. A little bit of a spike up, big spike down, and right now, after hours, Netflix is down 1.33%. We'll see how that translates into tomorrow. So as we come over, we look at the NASDAQ real quick. Now, I said we may have to come down a little bit more before we can come back up and form that right shoulder. Left shoulder, head, potentially right shoulder over here, which would indicate that maybe we start to get a bounce in the short term, only to come down and come substantially lower, maybe even all the way down here towards this high volume area. If we go ahead and we measure from swing high down to the low today, we can see the NASDAQ was down 5.36%. Now, it's not uncommon to see the NASDAQ have a correction of 5% or more. Normally, it'll happen about 3 times per year. But what is more concerning is the MACD indicator is still very elevated. We do have a cross of the 2 lines. Then on the 4-hour chart, we're just now making it down towards the 0 line with a very good separation of the MACD lines. Then on the 1-hour chart, you can see the MACD indicator trying to firm up here in a bit. And I think that we have a bounce that could be getting ready to play out. If you look out here on the 1-hour chart, we have a little bit of a double bottom pattern, which actually has 2 buying tails on each of those bottoms out there. Then we look over here on the 30-minute chart, you can see the MACD indicator is basically based out. And even though we went substantially lower today, The MACD indicator really did not make a substantial low today. You can also see that double bottom pattern a little bit clearer out here on the 30-minute chart. So is that going to set the stage that Friday is indeed going to be a bullish day in the market? We come over and look at the economic calendar tomorrow at 10:40 a.m. We have an FOMC member speaking, and then Bostic will be speaking at 1 p.m. So no major economic news. So is no news going to be good news for the stock market? We come over here and we look at the NASDAQ. I want to make everybody aware, Apex 7 a massive 80% sale off all their valuation accounts, passing as little as 1 day. And you can also get a 150K account for only $40. You get a 250K account for only $40. And you get a 300K account for only $40. So if you want to take advantage of this offer, use the link in the description box down below and use the promo code Mike at checkout. We come over here and we look at the NASDAQ out here on the composite profile. And we talked about this yesterday and even in this morning's video, but we had an A to B equals C to D pattern. We made it past the 127 extension, almost hitting the 161A. But also look, if you look right over to the left, we're coming where? Right near that minus development area on the profile. Now, the first time we come into it, we expect the market to bounce or get some type of reaction, which is exactly what has occurred at this moment. Now, the question is, will the bounce continue? And I think the bounce does have a potential to go higher from here. Over here on the daily chart, notice we were not able to get into this minus development area out here today. However, that does not mean I still don't want to pay attention to it. This is going to be a potential target location, maybe as soon as tomorrow, if indeed we do start to get the bounce. Now, when we look at this, we have value area low, 19,772.75. The point of control is going to be down here at 19,831.25. Value area high is going to come in at 20,009.25. Now, if you look, we also have a huge minus development area within the profile, but also just above value area high right over here is going to be very enticing. Do we simply do a look above and then simply fail and come back lower? Because if you look at the overnight volume profile levels that we talked about this morning, what do I always say? If we're above value area high, we start coming back down, we want to play the rotation lower. So the point of control would have been target 1. Value area low would have been target number 2. The value area low from the prior day would have been the additional target to the downside. Then from there, we really could have played off the composite profile, either the swing points over here or trying to target down towards that minus development area. So for tonight, I am going to lean more towards a bounce in the market. I'm going to be looking for buy side trades. Now, the question I'm really asking myself is, are we going to try to sweep the lows one more time before doing so? I would prefer that. However, tonight, as long as we're staying above the point of control, I'm going to lead more on the buy side of the market, see if we can run up towards value area high, maybe that minus development area. And if things get crazy tomorrow, maybe all the way up here towards that minus development area that we missed out here this morning. Now, when we come over and look at the SPY, the SPY, what do we see? Well, we measure from swing high right down here to swing low. The SPY has only dropped about 2.5%, which isn't a whole lot. But look what I told you guys. I warned you guys about this several videos ago. When we start to get a pullback, if we get into this minus development area, expect a reaction back up. And that would also correlate with the pattern that I'm going to share with you guys here in a moment, which indicates that we are likely going to go ahead and bounce. And then we'll see, do we put in a lower high and then ultimately come down towards the next high volume area and maybe even all the way down here towards 538.59. The MACD indicator on the daily chart just now starting to cross to the downside. Then on the 4-hour chart, you can see we do have a very good separation of the two lines. On the 1-hour chart, we still have a very good separation with no end in sight in terms of the momentum to the downside. However, when we look out here on the 30-minute chart, you can see the MACD indicator has starting to flatten out quite a bit. And if you look, what did we do this morning? We made it to where? Right up towards the upper third of the previous day's volume profile. Anytime we have a B as in boy shaped profile, I say if we break value area high, we're looking for the upper third of the range. And that's essentially where we came to today. Then you could have played the rotation all the way down through the volume profile, which is why I love using volume profile to give me an if then syntax. Should I be long or should I be short this market? As we come over and look at the S&P 500 for the futures markets, what do we see? Well, notice where we came down to today. We actually filled this in a little bit more. Right into this minus development area, we overshot this high volume area here. Let's not forget, down here at 5530.50 is still an untested point of control off of a weekly volume profile. Then when we look at the candle that we're closing with, a very bullish looking candle after we've already had an extended move on the way down. Also, if we grab our Fibonacci extension tool, we measure A to B, B to C, and look, we completed the ABC pattern. Now, when this happens, I expect something other than the market to continue in that direction. That could be go sideways. That could be having a bounce on the way back up. And out here on the 4-hour chart, do you guys see the structure area that should come back and get retested? You should be looking right here from the candle wicks to the candle bodies. Notice how this candle right here sliced right below that level. We have failed to come back and test it, which indicates that we are highly probable going to try to work our way back up towards that level. So pay very, very close attention to this level. So for bounce scenarios, this is going to be an area. Now that area is going to come in anywhere from 56.32 to about 56.40. Now, if we break above that, then yes, we can go substantially higher. And we'll see, do we come back and try to refill in this minus development area, which is all the way up here at about 56.73. I'm not saying we're going to bounce up that high tomorrow. I just want to make you guys well aware of it. You look down here, we are also able to take out a point of control today down here at 55.70.50. And when we look at the volume profile levels, notice value area low is right down here as well, which comes in at 55.70.50. The point of control will come in at 55.94.00, and value area high will come in at 56.29.00. Now today, we failed to make it all the way up here towards this level. And I said, if we cannot substantially get above value area high from the prior day, then it probably simply wasn't going to happen. And in this morning's video, I also showed you guys the volume profile levels here. I said, if we're above value area high, which we were, we start coming back down below it. We want to target where? Point of control, value area low. And right here, once we got below value area low and we pop back up, you could have played the rotation up and then you could have played it down once again. There was a lot of trading opportunities this morning dealing with the overnight volume profile levels. So for tonight, what am I looking for? Well, one, you can see we do have another minus development area right over here. Now that area is going to be anywhere from 56.22 down to about 56.17. That is going to be one of the targets I want to focus on. Then above that, I want to go back and I want to refer over here to the 4-hour chart with the weekly profiles, which is this structure level that we've broken out from. And we'll see, do we come back and test that level? Now, one thing I forgot to mention when we're looking at the SPY, if you take a look at the RSI is still not below 50. So if you think the market is a little bit oversold right now, you might want to think again. We look at the RSI on the hourly chart, though, you do see that we did come down towards the 30 level. Then out here on the 30-minute chart, you can see we dip below that level just slightly, and we'll see if we actually start to get the turn. That's why I'm saying the 30-minute charts do appear like we could get a bounce. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you guys think the S&P and NASDAQ will be able to get a bounce tomorrow and close green? And if you guys want to learn 3 simple ways to profit using moving averages, watch this video right here.